Hello, friends, and welcome to Bible study at Adventures in Pixieland, video 3. I am an ordained minister. My name is Amy. We are in the book of Revelations. We are doing chapter 8, and we are going to do 1 through, I think that looks like 13, 14, 13? Just very long, 13. But it's all of chapter 8. In Revelations. We are in the NIV. Please don't get emotional over that. We are going to be finishing the New Testament in the NIV this year, and then next year we will be in the NIV be doing the Old Testament and Psalms in videos, and then and the Proverbs will be on the Facebook page. And we will start doing comparison language. In 2026, we'll read the KJV, but the Proverbs on the Facebook page are already in the KJV. So we will start doing comparison languages for the Proverbs. I'm just not sure what a time frame yet, because I have to see how life takes me. So we are in Revelations chapter 8, verse 1. This portion here is called descending. It's the seventh seal and the golden censer. I want to make this censer, not censer, S-E-N-S-O-R, like you might have for an alarm system on a window. Not that kind of censer. Not censer as the black band that we stick over something because we don't want you to read it. Hold on, I'm testing to make sure it's not hot still, because I use it every morning. Censer. You burn incense in it. I put a charcoal disc in this, and I pour powdered incense, my own temple blend based upon Bible spices, every morning as I'm preparing myself for my day. Because, like I said, minister, I got to make the Eucharist so I can start my day. It's part of the day. That's how I put on my armor, or part of how I put on my armor. Prayer too, and of course Bible study. That is what the armor of Jesus looks like for me. Anyway, so chapter 8, verse 1. When he opened the seventh seal, this would be the Lamb. When he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about a half an hour. Wow. I bet you that's like that deafening quiet. And verse 2, and I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. Another angel who had a golden censer came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar before the throne. Okay. Now I'm wondering if the golden altar is actually the Ark of the Covenant. Just, because they got Ezekiel's chariot up there, so, why not? And it also might be talking about, the one like you usually see in church services that is on the pole that you swing. Okay, because that also is a means, and that's how they spread it all over the church. But it's the same thing. It's usually made of, it's got to be like brass or bronze or, copper or something that's going to hold up to the heat really well without melting. And then, it's a charcoal disc in there, and then you pour the incense on top. They all start the same way. It's just who's doing it. I use this because I don't have anybody with a pole walking around my house for me doing this while I'm in the middle of making Eucharist. Right? So it sounds like the angel might be, or it's on a big stand, and because he's keeping on a lot. So it's a big one. The smoke of the incense together with the prayers of the saint went up before God from the angel's hand. All right. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with the fire from the altar, Oh, and hurled it at the earth. Oh, delightful. And there came peals of thunder, rumblings, and flashes of lightning and earthquake. Okay. Then the trumpets, when the seven angels who had the seven trumpets prepared to sound them. The first angel sounded, so they put them up, and they're like, the first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood. Okay? And it was hurled down upon the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees were burned up, and a third of the green grass was burned up. This is terrible. I'm going to say this kind of sounds like it might be meteors, comets, things that would come down looking like a ball of burning fire into our atmosphere, because they're hurling them down. So they're up, so above the earth. A second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a huge mountain, all ablaze, was thrown into the sea. So it sounds like a meteor or a comet or something hitting the earth. A third of the sea turned into blood, and a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. Okay, so that could be anything. Sometimes when they say that, it's actually an algae, and it makes it appear red. I mean, the water's poisonous. You still shouldn't drink it, and that's why the fish die and all that stuff in there. But it also, if you're going to throw a giant comet into the middle of the ocean and destroy a third of the sea life, and yeah, blood, there's going to be a lot of it there. You would see that. It would be on the water and in the water, and and it's going to end up attracting the animals that are attracted to the blood in the ocean, and then they are going to die because they're in the vicinity, and things are going to hit them, so it's going to be even more. Yeah, so it'll create effect. The third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star, blazing like a torch, fell from the sky on the third of the rivers and on the springs of the water. The name of the star is wormwood. That is bitterness. Yes, wormwood is bitter. It does have certain functions and purposes, both on a spiritual level and on a medicinal level. I'm not necessarily saying you should ingest it, but it is also a thing that grows here. But a star named wormwood. Oh, that's interesting to me. I'll be doing some research later. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter. Yeah, because something was introduced to them that are not good. The fourth angel sounded his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of them turned dark, and a third of the day was without light, and a third of the night, and also a third of the night. We got knocked off our axis because we wouldn't be facing our sun the same way anymore, so we wouldn't get the same rotation. And this is very not good, because it means that the gravity of the solar system is now off balance. And very much so with our solar system on a scientific level. For me, the way I would sum it up, knowing what and I'm not an expert in this field, I'm just curious about the subject matter, so I've always, researched it, been involved, like science fiction stuff, all the stuff like that. But I also have a telescope, just amateur, just interested, not an expert. But from my experience, and I'm gonna and here's where I'm saying that I went into one of these astronomy places. They had a game and on a giant tablet the size of a table, and what you were supposed to be doing is building a solar system, because they were teaching about gravitational pull, which is what I'm talking about here when I'm saying what this sounds like to me. Because I tried to make Tatooine, okay? I tried to make a geeky Star Wars two-sun system because, I'm a nerd. Well, actually, because I'm a geek, because it's really a sign I'm a geek. I'm a nerd geek, so I say it's a neek, because GERD is a disease. I've never heard of it. I think there's like some culture has a goddess that's similarly how it would be spelled, but it wouldn't be said neek. So I'm a little weary of that. But this is why I don't use it as often anymore. But I'm that kind of geek, so I tried to do it, and it was like very hard. Did I eventually get it? Yeah. You know how many solar systems I destroyed trying to do that? I must have stood there for about an hour and a half trying different combinations of solar systems to get it to work. So, and I know from, enough from the space stuff, like, because I get, I'm subscribed to James Webb's telescope so I can see pictures of space. I mean, I'm interested, really interested. There by the grace of God go we. If we are pushed off axis in even a little tiny amount, our climate is completely changing. The patterns of our day or night change. If the gravitational forces out there go off balance, we have problems. We need everybody in our solar system to be stable for us to be stable. And that's going to happen for as long as God decides it will. Whew. Now, why wormwood? I don't know. So we were, a third of the day was without light and also a third of the night. So verse 13. As I watched, I heard an eagle, interesting symbology, that was flying in mid-air call out in a loud voice. Woe! Woe! Woe to the inhabitants of earth because of the trumpet blasts about to be sounded by the other three angels, which we will find out tomorrow, friends, because that'll be in chapter 9. So, let's remember that we never really know when the end is coming. And when it's coming, it's not going to be coming from any place of anything that we can do on this earth to stop it. It will not be in your control because it's coming from space. So all the things we're running around today worrying about, that you think is going to prepare humanity for the rest of the future, it doesn't mean it's not worthwhile to do. Just also remember, in all things we do, as has always been and will always be, it is there by the grace of God go we. So stay ready by spreading love, so you don't have to get ready. I'll hopefully see you up there one day.